Hello guys. So this is gonna be a different video. Um I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Webtoon idea or just the anime idea also of Avatar of God based on my YouTube channel game AOG Gaming. So what is Avatar of God? It is not similar at all to Avatar of King. It is not about gaming. I'd say it's like half isekai, half I don't know. It's very interesting, the idea that I came up with. So I don't have any like official names for my characters or anything, and I haven't made anything um, for them yet. But it's just like an idea I have about like how I want the story to revolve and how I wanted to start. Um, I will release some videos on Balloons Adventure Time and Balloons Tower Defense 6 after this video. Um, but I just wanted to get that out of the way because it's been on my mind for a while. I really do enjoy the webtoons from Tapas and Webtoon, as you can see on my screen right now. But yeah, let's talk about it. So I wanted to be a character who is here on Earth. Doesn't have to be in Japan. He doesn't have to be anywhere specific. I do love Japan though, so it probably will be Japan. Amazing culture, amazing food. But yeah, so it starts out with the main character, wherever I'm gonna be naming him. And he saves people on this train that's basically getting out of control, and he's basically bringing everyone off, taking off all the old people because they're slow. There's a good woman with like a walker. There's another guy who has crutches, and then he helps the children come off because they're scared and hiding when their parents are yelling on the train stop. So he finally takes everyone out, and the conductor's yelling at him to come out, but he's just checking one more time, and the door's closed. And then he's just stuck inside, and the train starts going haywire. And the reason that is because at the end of this tunnel, the trains are actually supposed to turn around, but they can't do that right now because the trails and the train are malfunctioning. So they have shut down every train except for this train is not working. So what the train ends up doing is going basically max velocity, and he just disappears from the train station, and everyone's just like, "Well, he dead." Um, and he gets thrown back because he's not holding on to anything. He's just like, "Well, shit, stuck inside the train now." And then eventually he gets back up after getting hit a few times from all the poles and chairs that he flies back and hits. And he looks forward and he just sees a dead end slowly approaching faster and faster. And he just thinks to himself, well, at least I was able to save everyone. At least my life had some meaning. And then he crashes and the entire train blows up. And everyone is evacuated from the tunnel because the tunnel starts blowing up all over the place since there are some gas lines, there are some electrical lines. And some people do end up getting hurt because the fire ends up spreading to the train stop where he was at. So it just ends after that. His life, of course. And what happens next is he ends up losing all of his memories and he just wakes up in a dark, empty void. He can't see himself. He can't feel his body. He can only think. He can feel energy around him, but it feels like it's more part of him rather than around his environment. But it's everywhere, all around him, infinitely stretching out in every direction. Now he doesn't know what happened because he already lost his memories, but he's just floating around in this dark void, devoid of all senses except for the feeling of energy, which is as he's feeling deeper into his instinctive I guess, feeling, he realizes that the energy is himself. He is the void, he is the energy that stretches on forever. But that's all he feels. He does 360s, he doesn't see anything, he doesn't feel anything. He doesn't feel his physical body, he just feels himself as energy. He finally comes to the realization that he's just a being of pure energy. But he doesn't know how he's supposed to manipulate that, how he's supposed to change with it. So he's just kind of stuck there thinking random thoughts, thinking about who am I? How was I created? What is this place I'm in? Is it me? Or is it just some place that is reflecting my own self-conscious? And these halting thoughts keep coming through his brain until he realizes that he can manipulate the energy around him. He can concentrate it and he feels more whole. So that's exactly what he ends up doing. And he ends up feeling like he has somewhat of a body. Now this body resembles human shape, but it's, I'd say, less uneven. It's completely uniform. He has no creases on his skin, as long as he can feel that, but it's not like he can see his body, so he doesn't know for sure. He doesn't feel nails as he's touching the tips of his fingers. He just feels energy. He feels his face, but it's completely flat. No mouth, no eyes, no nose. He has no hair. Just completely smooth vibrations of energy. He has no sex. We're not going to get too deep into that. But he just doesn't know anything. He just realizes that his body is just energy. Now he starts to play around with the energy around him and realizes it's connected to his body. And he can control all of it, though it takes a lot, extreme concentration of effort. So what he decides to do next is he decides he wants to see himself. He wants to see the space that he's in because he can feel that it's infinite. And his energy may stretch all the way to the boundary of it, but he doesn't know what he's in. He feels it as in a spherical presence, but it's so immense and large he can't be sure. So what he does is he goes towards the center of what he can feel, of whatever void, whatever place he's stuck in. And he concentrates his energy, stretches out his hand, if you can even call it that, considering that he has no real structure to his body, just slightly human form, almost like a shadow. And then he starts charging his energy into the center of this void. And he's just concentrating on trying to make his energy light. And he continues to concentrate his energy, and he puts all of his effort into it. And eventually, he feels force that slowly starts pushing him back, but he still continues pushing. And then eventually an explosion of blinding light occurs, and he's thrown back. He doesn't know how far, but he just keeps flying backwards until he's able to right himself. Now he looks on, and he feels strange in his body. It feels less vibrating and more pulsing, like there is something else that has appeared in his body. And when he finally opens his eyes and adjusts to the brightness, because right now he's basically blind, he can't see anything, he can't feel anything, except for himself and the void. But he does start to feel something different, pulsating energy coming from the center of the void where he concentrated his energy. And within that moment, he sees giant clouds of swirling lights and dust. But it's all concentrated in the center. And he thinks to himself, it's beautiful. He doesn't know how, but his energy got converted into that. He looks down at himself and he realizes he's just darkness with speckles of light. He doesn't understand what this is. His body looking like this, and he realizes that those speckles of light were not there before, because when he concentrates on them, each individual speckle of light on his body, he feels the same pulsing energy as he does from whatever energy he concentrated and created in the center of this void. So he simply looks down at the void where the energy is concentrated, and he feels it expanding. Now he looks out to try and see the edge of the void, but he sees nothing. He travels through it all the way to the wall that he believes is there, but he just finds endless empty space. He continues and he finally reaches it, and when he touches it, it feels as he's pressing on his own skin from the inside of his body. He feels it on his arm from wherever he is touching. He doesn't understand how this is possible, and he comes to the realization that whatever place he is in, wherever he is in, it is inside his body. Now he can't connect to the outside of this void, however hard he tries. He thinks that he is stuck in a state of consciousness within his own body. But then the void keeps on expanding, and he realizes that it's going to continue to expand. So he ends up going back to the light, since he misses the sensation of warmth and the ability to see. And when he travels back to it, he sees that it has actually started forming clusters of light and gas, trillions of times smaller than the energy that he created before. So he simply just looks in awe as he feels the pulsing energies multiplying, expanding, creating different energies within each different little speckle of light. He looks at it in his own body and sees that the energy is spreading throughout him as well. And then the final realization comes that he is the void. He controls the void. He is what becomes the void. Now he's staring at himself, realizing that he has the power to control the light. And he wants to expand the light, to see its potential, because he does not know the light. He knows that it is energy, but he has not studied it enough. So he simply concentrates on it, knowing that he can't escape this void no matter how he tries. And he accepts his fate of being stuck in a consciousness state. He thinks to himself that maybe he is in some sort of sleep state, though he does not know for certain. He wills his body to expand and continue to expanding, increasing its expansion. And he simply just looks at the beautiful patterns that the lights, the gases. He just stares in awe, wondering what beautiful sight beholds him. And it continues to get more beautiful, like a map of endless gems across a dark, watery surface, so oblique and so dark that you cannot even see ripples across it. All you can see is simply the gems shining on it, like a painted canvas, a dark, dark obsidian canvas with speckles of white. That is when he decides that he should concentrate his energy and try and create something similar to him. He feels lonely, that he is the only one able to appreciate this beauty, this order that is somewhat chaotic, yet well defined within its parameters. And so then he tries to create what he believes is his first life form.